Once again, I have not changed any of my settings, but for some reason the settings were changed. All right, just to make sure this shit is working. Wait.
Does it sound like I'm a cute anime waifu girl right now? Does it sound like that? Oh my god, Segway, welcome to my fucking stream.
That's what y'all like, right?
I know you boys are addicted to AI, talking to cute waifu girls like me. Come on, why don't you reach into your wallet with your big strong hands and get out that credit card and donate to a hot VTuber like me with a rusty beard and a fat butt sitting with his dick out that you can barely see. Come on, boys.
That's what y'all be doing. That's what y'all fucking be doing. All right, y'all. What was I about to say? I said turn that shit off. All right, so this is how we gonna start off the stream. Ladies and gentlemen, Motion Man is in full effect. If you don't follow me on social media, we have been featured, and when I say we, meaning the GI podcast, we have been featured on the Washington Post, which in my opinion is probably the second. Some might say the first. It depends on who you ask and what you're into. I'd say it's the second biggest news outlet in the United States, behind the New York Times. It's a big paper. I'd say it's probably New York Times, Chicago Tribune, the LA Times, I think, and Washington Post. I put Washington Post probably at number 2. Anyways, the Motion Man, the GI podcast is there. And why are we being featured by the Washington Post, ladies and gentlemen? It's because we put the ball and gun into the zeitgeist. So we're going to read along and we're going to entertain this article because I know some of y'all can't read. But don't worry, Kai Cenat's bringing reading back. According to the Washington Post, and shout out to Gene Park, he's the one that wrote it. Ball and gun gamers and the plague of uninformed expertise. Sports and games. I haven't read this, by the way. We did an interview like a few weeks ago, and then I saved the article for the stream so like we could just react to it. Sport games and shooters are often excellent, but the conversation around them is a symptom of a wider culture that treats participation as knowledge. Blowhard. I don't know how to pronounce that. I'm going to pull a Kai Cenat here because he invented that. I've never done this on stream, by the way. I don't know how to pronounce this fucking word. Is it dilettante? Let's see. Dilettante. Ooh, fancy. A person who cultivates an area of interest such as art. Yo, shout out to Kai Cenat. I never would have did that without you. Dilettante. Blowhard. Dilettante. Poser. Big ass word, right? We have many names for people who speak with the confidence of experience and knowledge that they don't actually possess. Lately, video games discourse has developed a new term for performative authority known as the ball and gun gamer. The phrase sounds generally dismissive, describing players who taste rarely wander beyond sports and competitive online shooting games for almost 20 years. Is this too loud? This might be a little bit too loud, I think. Oh. For almost 20 years, the category has been dominated by Call of Duty, a multi-billion-dollar franchise, as industrially analyzes FIFA, NBA, and NFL video games. That's hundreds of millions of players. And according to Sarcania, which we often reference on this channel for our analytics, the top 20 best-selling games on PlayStation platforms in the United States are dominated by games with balls and guns. You can count the exceptions such as God of War and the Elder Scrolls Skyrim on one hand. Shout out to Tiny Killer with this, appreciate it. I didn't know books existed till Kai Cenat. Real shit, man. Shout out to Kai. Yo, shout out to Miguel with the get this up. Despite the diversity of video games today, the popularity of sports and shooting are no surprise as the genres are rooted in the medium's founding and history. Since the dawn of the medium in the 1950s, games have often revolved around guns and competition. You have Space War, which was developed by Massachusetts Institute of Technology, the first game to be played across various computer platforms and a foundational gun game. You had Pong, which was released in 1972 as a digital recreation of tennis and is part of the Smithsonian Institution permanent collection of American history. Not bad for a ball game. I be forgetting, yeah, Pong is tennis, yeah. The label becomes derogatory when someone who only plays games with balls and guns start complaining about the wider medium of video games. There's nothing wrong with only playing ball and gun games, said the Black Hokage, a creator since 2007 whose podcast, Gaming Illuminati or GI, helped popularize the phrase. The phrase might have originated from a 2023 Twitter post, according to Know Your Meme, but me, world-renowned content creator the Black Hokage, and his co-host remember it was uttered by players as early as 2016. And I made sure to say that when he did the interview, because like I've seen some people saying on social media that I was trying to take credit for the term. I've said it on the stream plenty of times. I didn't invent that term. I saw the meme just like you guys with fucking Patrick the Star sleeping on the couch and shit. I think we just brought it back in the zeitgeist because it kind of died down in popularity. The issue becomes when every year around the Game Awards, they start to moan, what is game of the year? What game should be nominated, Hokage said. They wanted to be involved in the conversation for what's going on in the greater industry, and there's nothing wrong with that, he added, but they didn't study for the test. For the millionth time, that's what ball and gun gamers are about. We don't care that you only play ball and gun games. We just don't want to hear your opinion on shit that you've never played. And it's not even a gaming issue. It's become a rampant issue since the rise of social media and algorithms. The For You page, as much of a blessing as it's been the fucking devil as well. Since that For You page has become a thing on TikTok and adopted across every social media platform, people view it as their way to get on and make it out they mama basement. So what you have is more and more and more people just giving the most outrageous takes, such as nobody heard of that game. Nobody played that. No, you never heard of it because you live in a bubble. It just baffles me how many people are just live in this bubble. The phrase re-entered the popular lexicon towards the end of the year when influencers like Shroud complained that Arc Raiders, a gun game, was snubbed for nominations at the Game Awards. Twitch streamer Tim the Tatman yelled in November about how there were 0 good games out during the first half of 2025. He did his research. A ridiculous notion considering the fantasy game Clair Obscur Expedition 33 was released in April and swept award seasons, and then there was Capcom's Monster Hunter Wilds. It became one of the biggest hits of the year. The YouTube comedian Mighty Keith, shout out to Mighty Keith, made a skit poking fun at ball and gun gamers. What's her name? It's about being loud and wrong at it. GI co-host Miss 5000 Watts. It's playing those games, but it's also saying things like there are no games to play. There's nothing good out anymore. When's the next good game going to come out? But they only play a really small section of games. And then he linked his skit. W research. Enjoying ball and gun games doesn't mean you have bad taste either. However, that's true because I play ball and gun games. I've been playing nothing but Battlefield 6 recently. However, Nero said Marlo Carfer, Ethos, on GI. This nigga got a black ass name. I be forgetting sometimes. This nigga is at the blackest name in GI. Battlefield 6, which is great, by the way. Battlefield 6, the final game led by the late Call of Duty creator Vincent Impella. Shout out to Vince, RIP. Won critical praise and became last year's best-selling game. Even Expedition 33 can be loosely defined as a gun game, as its heroes can conjure magical pistols. When I be reading that shit, it be throwing me off because I'm not gonna hold y'all, chat. We all know each other's government names. I know where everybody lives. We hung out with each other in real life, but even when we see each other, we don't refer to each other as our government names. Like, it's just not what we like. We go by our gamer tags. It's just kind of like a cultural thing, which I feel like is a conversation in itself, because I'm pretty sure we're not the only friend group who does that shit. I'm pretty sure some of y'all in the group chat, some of y'all in the chat, y'all do that with y'all friends too. Like, we just go by our fucking gamer tags, bro. Yeah, we've done the same. Your IR friends call you Hokage? Nah, they call me Corey. The people that I know in LA, but that's very few. I hang out with very few people in LA, so. There are good games with great appeal, Ethos said. Their high production presentation do get the eyes of a lot of people who only play 1 or 2 games a year. The ball and gun gamers are expected to have the ultimate release this November in the form of Grand Theft Auto 6. I wish he would have called it the second coming of Jesus. That's what I call it, by Rockstar, developer of other gun games that top charts besides Call of Duty. The studio's last game, Red Dead Redemption 2, didn't win Game of the Year in 2018, which angers its fans to this day. If it doesn't win, it'll be the biggest drama on the timeline for at least 48 hours, Ethos said. I agree. A 2025 Circana survey found that about 63% of American gamers only buy up to 2 games a year. New games, which, by the way, if you haven't read that article, in that article, they defined what's a new game as a game that's 3 years or younger. So right now in 2026, what's defined as a new game is 2023 to 2026. Only 63% of gamers. This is why I be getting on y'all, but everybody got an opinion for some reason. Shout out to y'all who part of that 40%, which now often costs $70 to $80. Crawford surmises that 2020's pandemic might have added casual players who are still finding their way around the medium, but are armed with social media to speak on an industry that they're barely entered. Shout out to the people who are subbing in the chat. Everyone was locked inside and we saw it, said Justin, aka UTX JG the Don. Everyone was trying to become a streamer. People were buying gaming PCs and PS5 consoles were flying off the shelves. It ushered in a lot of first-time gamers. And look, you guys are welcome into the culture, but it's just that you're very loud and not fully participating in the culture. Gates said it reminds him of what's been happening in hip hop. October marked the first time the Billboard's top 40 contained no hip hop since 1990. This kicked off discourse that rap is dying, with TikTok videos complaining about how hip hop is only about money, drugs, and women, ignoring the wider variety of music throughout the genre. And I thought this was a great example that he brought up when we did the interview, because that's true. If you said hip hop is dead after that article came out because there were no top hits, that means you're not a fucking rap fan, because there were a ton of great albums that came out last year. You guys are just waiting on Iceman, or you're just waiting on K-Dot to drop something for some reason. Expand your palette, support the culture. So many older rappers literally had a renaissance in 2025, and they didn't listen to any of it because they were still stuck on Drake and waiting for Iceman, Gates said. Similar to what the pandemic did for gaming, Kendrick Lamar's high-profile decimation of Drake during their rap feud helped expand the hip-hop audience, if only for a few months in 2024. Being a ball and gun gamer isn't really about genre preference, and while some critics of the term have suggested it stereotypes black players, it's not really about race either, the host of GI said. I made sure to nip this shit in the bud, because you got clowns going around saying that shit. It is what it is, Cammy. Shout out to J Smooth with the sub. Appreciate it. Yo, who wrote this? Yeah, Gene wrote it. Ball and gun gamers is just a new term for bro gamers, said the Black Hokage, referring to the early 2000s term for people who only played shooting games. I'm going to be honest. The top bro gamers are usually white men. It's not a racist term. If you've ever seen Community Day for NBA 2K, they do it every year where they fly out creators. It's mostly white boys. If you see a ball and gun, shout out to him for actually putting that in there. If you see a ball and gun and immediately think black man, I think you've done the woke circle too much. You need to go back around, is what Watts said. The phenomenon is really about how modern discourse rewards blustering confidence over curiosity, amplified by a social media culture that can flatten expertise. It's not unique to video games. It's across politics, art, and even science, all forms of art. Every form of art has their own ball and gun gamer. The ball and gun gamer becomes a symptom of a wider culture that treats participation as knowledge. That's a bar. Ball and gun games will always matter in the medium. That's a fact, as they're foundational, popular, and often excellent. Games that feature college sports stars and blistering gunplay have helped the industry mature and grow. It's the conversation about them that feels stunted and juvenile. Ladies and gentlemen, we are officially inducted into the Gaming Hall of Fame with this one. We broke it down, what it means. We explained it. So, if at any point your homeboys get mad, you get called a ball and gun, they get called a ball and gun gamer, and they don't know what it means. Not only do you have my videos and the podcast to reference, you can reference this article, be like, look, this nigga's in the newspaper, bruh. He knows what he's talking about. This is influence, okay? I may not be the most popular person in the world, but they said, mind you, we just for clarification, we didn't reach out to them. They reached out to us. They said, we need the scoop. I said, oh, perfect timing. It's a new year. It's a great way to start the year off, bruh. We need the ball and gun documentary. We need the ball and gun documentary. Oh my god. We could do a documentary on like recovering ball and gun addicts. Niggas scratch it. I haven't played Madden since Madden 08. I'm itching. So if you want the link to the article to share with your ball and gun gamers who you wish would get out of their fucking comfort zone, I'm dropping the link in the chat. Shout out to the Washington Post. Shout out to Gene Park for for dropping this article, writing this article. And also, you know, if you follow Gene, because he's a pretty popular writer on Twitter. If you follow Gene on Twitter, you know, wish him well. The man's going through it. Wish him well. Wish him well. You know what's funny? People that only play MOBAs like League of Legends, etc. You never hear them because they know they're lame. Actually, that's not true. Just a couple streams ago, we covered that dude Tarzan. Apparently, the entire League community hates him, and he went viral because he said gaming was dead. He said there's nothing to play besides League, so that's actually not true. I beat Simon on the weekend. Can I get a droid sound? All right, so that's the feature. GI got motion. That's not all we got. We working on other stuff too. We're working on other stuff. Y'all, shout out to Lil Baby J with the sub. Appreciate it. Not only are we being consistent with weekly podcasts and we're getting features, but you know, we trying to work on bringing people onto the show and shit and making sure we dropping quality content, not just on the podcast, but I was like right before the stream, I was working on some stuff. We trying to try out some new shit to get our name out there. So whenever you see us drop, please support. We appreciate it. You can support right now by hitting the like button. Other news. The rest of these articles are in the realm of ball and gun, since we just did a article covering what it is and what's going on with the ball and gun culture. Now we're going to switch gears to one of the biggest ball and gun developers in the world. It would seem that an explosion happened. Small explosion at GTA developer Rockstar North in Scotland. Shout out to Reiko with the sub. Appreciate it. The office of Rockstar North, the company best known for developing Grand Theft Auto and its upcoming sequel, has been hit by a small explosion and fire, according to officials in Scotland. The incident happened at around 5 a.m. on Monday when fire crews were called for an incident at Barclay House, the building housing Rockstar North on Hollywood Road in Edinburgh. A large number of resources responded to the scene, including 7 vehicles from the Scottish Fire and Rescue Services. They said to the press, Operations Control mobilized 3 fire appliances and special resources to the scene, where firefighters worked to secure the structural damage at the commercial building, said a fire service spokesperson. There were no reports of casualties, and crews left the scene at 9:21 a.m. Shout out to nobody getting hurt. We don't want to see that. Shout out to that. And shout out to the firemen doing their job. You know what I'm saying? Everybody loves firemen. It's fuck cops, though. I ain't never heard nobody hate a fireman. Rockstar Games confirmed to B&O News that the incident involved a malfunction in one of the heating boilers at Rockstar North's headquarters. Local media, including the Herald newspaper, described it as an explosion which led to a small fire. Many thanks to those who reached out with concern, and also to the police and fire crews who were on the scene quickly to assess the situation, a Rockstar Games spokesperson told the news. The spokesperson indicated that the game development was not affected by Monday's explosion, saying, "Please know that everyone is well and our studios remain open and All right, bro. I gotta nah, I don't like that shit. I feel like the average person who reads this, they'll be like, "Oh, thank God they're still gonna work on the game." Nah, can a nigga get a day off? A fucking bomb went off damn near. The boiler blew up in the building. We can't get the day off. Like, I'm stressed out. Can I talk to my family? I almost died today. They said, thank God we were still able to work on the game. I don't know how I feel it. This is an example of what I mean when I say people hate corporations, and you will rarely ever hear me defend a fucking corporation unless I feel like motherfuckers are just genuinely being unfair. Yeah, back to business, nigga. Get to work. Rockstar North is the lead developer of Grand Theft Auto 6, which has become one of the most anticipated video games. Yeah, they're just yapping about the upcoming shit. You know, I'm happy to hear nobody got hurt. But I don't know, man. I feel like we talked about GTA 6 like the last 4 podcasts. I talk about it on stream all the time. I'm tired of fucking talking about this game. I just want to play it. And as time goes on, the less I hope I'm wrong, but as time goes on, the less confident I'm feeling this game will actually come out this year. I mean, there's already been multiple rumors in this month alone that they're not sure if it's actually going to hit that November deadline. Between the union busting, they got workers out there protesting, trying to get better pay, better benefits, shit blowing up. Fucking, I feel like I'm forgetting there's another thing too that happened with Rockstar. There's been like 3 or 4 incidents with them where it's like I can see things getting halted. We gonna see, man. Shout out to Only with the sub, but thankfully nobody got hurt. But I wanted to cover that because, you know, we keep it in the realm of ball and gun. I'm not mad at the way you feel. I would imagine everybody feels that way. Like, people who really want to play it. Like, me personally, I'm tired of talking about it because I don't care about Grand Theft Auto that much. I just want to get my hands on it and really see if it lives up to the hype. And I feel like on the opposite end of the spectrum, people who are super excited about it, they're tired of talking about it because they're super excited about it. They just want to play. I feel like I can confidently say and speak. Normally I wouldn't do this, but I feel like I can confidently speak for the gaming culture as a whole when I say we're tired of talking about this fucking game. Can we just play it? Can we just fucking play it, man? The game has no room for error at this point. And the longer they wait, yep. What else I got for you? More ball and gun news. So we just covered what it means to be a ball and gun gamer and how it's affecting the culture. Then we covered the biggest ball and gun developer in the world. Shit, one of the biggest developers, period. But if we're talking about pinnacle ball and gun developers, we're talking Rockstar. And on this third article, we're gonna go in the opposite end of the spectrum. We're going from the pinnacle of ball and gun to the trenches. Ladies and gentlemen, I got some Splitgate news. Splitgate Arena Reloaded's new Battle Royale mode sounds a lot like Apex, and this writer can't wait to give it a try. Now, if you're wondering why I said this is ball and gun trenches, if you haven't been following, Splitgate 1 came out, had no motion for 2 years, and then out of nowhere, some big streamers played it. And because most of you niggas are drones, you decided you liked the game, even though y'all told me it was trash, and I've been trying to put y'all on for 2 years. But I'm not gonna be salty. I was just happy to see the game do good. Then, like a month after it started getting some motion, after, you know, popular white people told you to play it and y'all started playing it, what if I'm saying don't apply, let it fly, but you know who you are. When y'all started playing it, the motion got killed because Halo Infinite came out and it was free to play. People were like, well, fuck bootleg Halo. I'm gonna go play the real Halo. It's free to play. And it sucks because Halo Infinite and Splitgate died. One game killed the other, and you know, Halo Infinite just lacked content. Well, you know, a few years pass, Splitgate 2 comes out. It was okay. I played it. It was like, it felt like a solid 7. It was a cool game. But unfortunately, it was riddled with really bad microtransactions, bad PR from the CEO, wanted to make political jokes and shit on his peers. A lot of people decided to boycott the game, so they shut down the servers, and then they came back and rebooted as Splitgate Arena, which is really weird because if you don't know what Splitgate Arena is, they took all those features that the CEO stood on stage and shat on his peers and said, oh, we're better than all these other first-person shooters. They removed all those features that they felt like made it better than the competition and then just returned to basically Splitgate 1, just with better graphics. So they didn't even stand on business, and now they're calling it Splitgate Arena. Unfortunately, they're only averaging like 1,000 players. I mean, we could look it up. I don't know what it is. It's been like 2 weeks. It hasn't been doing good since it came back. Oh wait, no. Steam PP. Even less. Oh Lord. It's not even averaging 1,000 anymore. It relaunched like 3 weeks ago. Yeah, January 18th. Well, no, like about a month ago. It relaunched and it can't even average 1,000 players. This is the first game I've ever seen die 3 times in a row. Like, goddamn, nigga. Is the Black Panther making this game? Is he using his zombie powers to resurrect this game? It keeps fucking coming back. They should rename this game The Walking Dead Reloaded, nigga. Like, so long story short, the game is dying already after the relaunch. And the developers hopped on Twitter and started bitching and crying, saying, you guys, you know, player counts don't equal fun. And to be fair, that is correct. You know, how many people are playing doesn't dictate how good a game is. Doesn't speak to the quality of the art. But you guys shot yourselves in the foot when you had that PR disaster. Well, they're not quitting, guys. They're not quitting. They're back with a new mode. Let's see what it is. If you take a look at the Steam charts, yeah, we know that shit did. Arena Royale's mode, the new mode, is less looting and more shooting. While I enjoy the cadence of a standard battle royale, this makes sense for Splitgate Arena's reloaded brand of frantic portal hopping action. The first thing you should know is this is much smaller than most BRs, with just 6 teams of 4 players duking it out on the same length of time as a traditional arena match. You can respawn as long as one member of your team is still alive, and from that on point, it's pure survival. So basically, one person always has to survive, or you won't die, and your team won't die. This keeps things interesting and is where Apex Legends has been leaning with its more casual modes like Wildcard in recent seasons. The recent Winter Wipeout update allows multiple teams to use the same respawn beacon, and who cares about that shit? Let's look at the trailer. They're talking about some other shit.
Hey, everyone.
All right, let's see what the update is hitting for.
I'm Josh from 1047 Games.
Split Death. Oh, no.
In our update 2.2, and that includes a preview of our new mode, Arena Royale. This update is a big one for Splitgate. It builds on everything we learned from launch and takes that same arena-first philosophy and applies it to our Battle Royale. When we sat down to design Arena Royale, we knew we wanted to push it closer to that arena feel. A lot of that DNA already existed in Splitgate's BR, like diverse.
Wait a minute. How many players did he say? 1 second, y'all. He said but more players. One. And frantic. The first thing you know is somebody's playing with just 6 teams of 4 players. So what? That's 24, right? I'm old. That's 24, right? Let me make sure. Yeah, it's 24. Okay, so it's 24 players in their BR team. Now, why does this matter? Okay, so there's 909 people playing right now. So at most, there's about 37 games on the server going on right now. Anyways, I'm done being petty.
Battlegrounds and the ability to respawn when going down. But we knew we wanted to push it further. And we kept coming back to this core idea. Less looting, more
Closed gate.
See, traditional battle royales have long stretches where you're not really playing. You're staring at chests, traversing empty space, and waiting for your next fight. Arena shooters are the opposite. They're about fast action and fast engagement. Arena Royale is the best of both worlds. One of the biggest changes you'll see right away is
He looks like Golden Boy if he said gamer words. You know
how
what I mean?
matches start. Instead of dropping
I'm not saying he does, he just looks like he does. You know what I mean? You know that face?
Space.
During like you say gamer words.
The entire lobby votes on which biome you'll fight in. We have 4 biomes: Glacier, Drought, Fracture, and our brand new addition, Outskirts, an urban battleground that brings an entirely different scale to the fight. You cast your vote, and when the timer hits 0, the majority vote decides where all.
I thought there was already a BR mode. There was, but the one that they had in the last game, Splitgate 2, it was more of a traditional BR with a bunch of people on the map. These are smaller, more fast-paced BR matches.
Narrowing each game to a single biome.
Shout out to Treason with the super chat. He said 1047 studios can't even get 1047 players on their servers.
With a tighter player count, keeps the experience fast and focused, much closer to the rhythm of an arena shooter.
Shout out to Nihilus with the super with the sub. Appreciate it.
Now let's talk about the pace. We wanted looting and Arena Royale to feel fast and frictionless. Chests open automatically, loot drops instantly on death, so you're not spending your match in menus while somebody third parties you. We've also done away with buy stations. Instead, you can upgrade
My only question to that is like if everything autos, like what if I don't want to drop something? That could be infuriating.
instantly while moving through the map. You'll earn cash by doing damage and getting kills, and from our new arena events. Every round you'll get an injection of arena gameplay with Hot Zone, Split Ball, and Firecracker.
Well, that's kind of cool. So it's not like your typical BR. It's going to be multiple game modes within the BR competing.
These events work to pull players into fights and deliver arena-style engagements inside the BR sandbox. Win the event, get the cash, and upgrade your gear to get the upper hand in your next fight. Arena Royale is exciting for us, but our focus is on strengthening the core arena experience right alongside this mode. Update 2.2 also brings a brand new arena map that features high-flying gameplay where players launch into the sky to engage in aerial combat. It adds a whole new flavor to the arena. We're also making improvements to custom games, adding new mythic cosmetics, and a brand new mastery camo we call Isotromic. This will be the ultimate chase camo for the completionists who get Proelium on every weapon. We're really excited for this update, and we can't wait to hear what you think. Thank you for the continued feedback and support. It's shaped everything we're doing, and we'll need even more as we continue to develop Splitgate. Update 2.2 and Arena Royale go live January 22nd. We'll see you in the arena.
It's free to play. It's coming out in 2 days if you want to try it. I mean, you know, just know you will potentially. God damn, you know this shit. You know this shit ass because it's free to play and it's on the PS4 and they still cannot get 1,000 players. PS4 players love ball and gun games. They're broke and they won't even play this shit. Thanks. I just thought about it too. Like with the 900 people on the server, I wonder how many, at least 20 of them got to be game developers. So count that down. It's probably not 37 games. It's probably like 35. It is what it is. Hey, it's free to play if you want to try it out. It doesn't look terrible, but I'm gonna be honest, Resident Evil 9 is coming out, so I'm mentally preparing for that. It is what it is. Off topic, but what's the program you use to multi-stream on OBS? It's an extension. It's a plugin. Just Google multi-stream plugin for OBS. You'll find it. Yo, shout out to Cameron with the sub. Appreciate it. Other ball and gun news I got for you. Tides of Tomorrow has been delayed till April 22nd. Publisher THQ Nordic and developer DigiArt have delayed Tides of Tomorrow. It's a first-person adventure game with multiplayer influence systems from its previously planned February 24th release to April 22nd. It's available on PS5, Xbox Series, and PC. I believe this is that first-person shooter that takes place on the water bases, and the stories played together in multiplayer, and everything you do and your friends do affects the story versus other people. Following the extensive feedback gathered from Tides of Tomorrow's playable demo and the ongoing closed beta, the development team determined that additional time is needed to respond to players' input and implement improvements. THQ Nordic said in a press release, this extra development period will help ensure the best possible experience for the upcoming narrative-driven adventure. A demo for Tides of Tomorrow is currently available on Steam right now if you want to check it out. Yeah, this is that. Yeah, it is. This is that multiplayer game that has a story mode. It's like a shooter adventure game. Fucking play that shit, bro. It's super vibrant. TBH got more live viewers than Splitgate. Chill. It kind of reminded me of like some Subnautica multiplayer shooting thing.
Anyone who
it seems like they're doing something super ambitious. If you want to check out the demo, I'll drop the link in the chat. In the trailer as well. So yeah, if you're waiting on it, gotta wait a little bit longer. More ball and gun news, not gaming related, but it is gaming adjacent because Pokemon is also a video game, not just an anime. And also this involves guns. Armed robbers stole $100,000 worth of Pokemon cards from a store in New York. Pokemon games may not come to PC very often, but it's still the highest grossing media franchise in the world and therefore serious business. Serious enough to pull a gun in the middle of a store, apparently as NBC reported happening during a robbery in Manhattan on January 14th. No one was hurt, fortunately, but the trio of robbers brandished handguns and smashed open several display cases full of merchandise at the Poke Court on 13th Street. They stole what store owners Courtney Chin estimate is $100,000 in merchandise, and the thieves remain at large. It's $100,000 worth now, but the problem with Pokemon cards is like the value goes up and down based. Like if everybody decided they don't care about Pokemon cards anymore, it's not worth $100,000. But right now it is. Now I know what you're thinking. This crime, though unfortunate, is sort of a novel and maybe even a little funny because a Pokemon store was robbed and not a bank or an art museum. And that's why you're reading it on PC Gamer after all. Typically, the only heists we cover involve Payday 3. They're just yapping. So the reason I wanted to bring this story up is just because, like, if you are into Pokemon card, I know personally somebody who flips Pokemon cards. If you're into this medium, flipping Pokemon cards and making profits and shit like that, just be safe. I'm gonna be honest. You should. I think the safest thing to do when it comes to flipping Pokemon cards. First of all, you're ruining the fucking medium, the hobby. It's supposed to be a cards game for kids. But if you do it, I think the safest bet is do an online store or do it at trade shows because ain't nobody running up in there with guns. At least I would hope not, with guns and robbing people at trade stores. That's just too risky. It's too many witnesses and shit like that. There's been an influx of card shops I've seen sprouting up on social media who just have ultra rare Pokemon cards on display in glass. And I was talking about this. Yeah, knock on wood. I wouldn't wish that upon it. I was talking to my girl about this shit the other day. So apparently she knows somebody who works. So there was about 2 weeks ago, there was a store in LA that got hit, a Pokemon card shop in LA. And she knows somebody that worked there and they got robbed for $500,000 in cards. And then somebody just got robbed this week for $100,000 in New York. So clearly it's a trend. Niggas is getting robbed for Pokemon cards because of the value. It's getting out of hand. The point I'm trying to make is stick to online shops and trade shows. Opening a brick and mortar store for Pokemon cards, I'm gonna be honest, it sounds like a smart idea, but in my opinion, I don't think it is. And do you know why? I'm gonna tell you why this shit is happening. Is somebody, because you nerd ass niggas that never been outside, oh, I'm just gonna sell these Pokemon cards and we're gonna be nerds and shit like that. In real life, the wolves is starving. Yeah, I'm a nerd, but I spent a lot of time amongst the rats and the roaches living near the projects, okay? The wolves are always starving. And to be honest, you niggas with these Pokemon mom and pop brick and mortar stores, And by the way, I'm not talking about people who sell booster packs and shit. I'm not talking about like a regular comic book card shop that sells Pokemon booster, Yu-Gi-Oh booster packs and shit like that. I'm talking about these specialty stores that have been popping up. There are specialty stores that have been popping up that only carry rare shit. If you are opening up one of those mom and pop shops, you are a walking fucking lick. Yeah, I said it. You want to know why? To the wolves that are hungry. You guys are fucking nerds. That's why this is the second story this has happened, and you ain't seen nobody fucking defending themselves, bruh. Niggas walked in there, put a gun in your face, and give me that shit. And you know the scary thing about Pokemon cards too is, A, they're in high demand right now, so they're easy to flip. And then two, all you gotta do is walk in there with a backpack or a duffel bag. You could take their entire supply. It's not like stealing something bigger, right? Like a car or something. They're Pokemon cards. Get a duffel bag and you can fill the whole duffel bag up with. That's why they're walking away with 100,000, 500,000. They're easy fucking licks. You guys are nerds. A lot of you guys don't know how to fight. At bare minimum, if you're gonna start opening up one of these stores, y'all need to start carrying protection. If you too pussy to learn to go to the damn shooting range, at least get a baseball bat or something like that. But I'm not gonna lie, I don't know what that's gonna do when a nigga pull a Glock on your ass, or a shotgun or some shit like that. But truth be told, I know some of y'all don't want to hear this shit, but the reason I think these Pokemon stores are getting hit is because you niggas are walking licks. Y'all are pussy, and you got to stop moving like it. So start protecting your supply, or get out of this business and just stick to online selling, basically, man. You can't always reach for your weapon though. Hey, but you got a better chance than what's the better option? Well, you know, you're always gonna be able to, yeah, obviously. But what's the better option? Having it on you or not having it on you? Because this is the second story we've seen where they're just walking in the store and just walking out like nothing happens. And by the way, they were never caught. And what sucks about this shit is these cards are easy to flip. They're easy to flip. Like, yeah, it might be $100,000 worth of merchandise, but if I stole the shit, I'm trying to get rid of it as quickly as possible. I don't care that it's worth $100,000. I'll flip it for 25, 50. I'm just trying to get rid of it. So you gotta, and these are hard to trace. They're fucking hard. They're small cards. Yeah, it's better to have it and not need it, and then not exactly. Gotta move cautiously. So stop being a walking lick, nerds. One of the best things you can do is learn self-defense. Just imagine them just saying, Charizard, I choose you. Get some pepper spray and mace at least. Type shit, something, protect yourself, bro. But yeah, just covering that. Another ball and gun story. More ball and gun news. Freestyle Football 2 coming to PS5 and Xbox Series. It's a new soccer game, football, internationally. But it's an arcade soccer game. If you're into that shit, more balls. If you like arcade stuff. Yo, shout out to Superman with the sub. Appreciate it. 5v5 arcade football. One team, one goal. Is it free to play? Let me see. We'll see after this trailer. Doesn't look terrible. It looks... Rematch killer? I don't know about all that. You can scan the screen right now to sign up if you want. I'm gonna leave it up for a second. You can find out if it's free to play right there. No, I'm not taking donations for certain games. Have I mentioned OpenAI being down 13 billion? I have not, but I do know that happened for those who haven't been following that story. Yesterday, news came out that OpenAI, the company behind ChatGPT, the owners, Sam Altman, they revealed that they are burning through cash. And if they don't find a way to monetize and turn a profit, they could run out of cash as soon as 2027, which is what up, Tate? Which is bad for them and even worse for people who are addicted to ChatGPT, because if that shit collapses, oh my God, that shit's gonna be funny. People who are not capable of critical thinking, like there's this we're talking next year. There is a possibility, as fast as ChatGPT has came in and fucked up the game, it could actually disappear. He said I'm applying for it right now. Yeah, I'm leaving it on the screen if you want to scan the code with your phone. So I'm curious to see what happens. And by the way, I don't think they're exaggerating. There's a high probability ChatGPT could it could, but what's the word I'm looking for? Collapse, because the paid version is $20 a month. Most of y'all ain't paying for that shit. And the few people who are, you're using the fuck out of them servers, so they're not making their money back because they're getting more value out of it. So I don't know if you saw, but they also, Google would just buy them out. That's true, Siggy. That could happen. That is a possibility. We don't want that to happen. I want to see shit crash and burn. But anyways, anyways, what am I about to say? They're not generating enough money off that $20 a month plan. They have a heavier one, but most people are not on that shit. They're implementing ads. That's the telltale sign that this story is not a lie. That's what I was gonna say. They also announced that they are implementing ads into the platform. I don't know if that's for the free version only or the paid, but the fact that they're implementing ads is a sign that they are struggling for cash, which is also them implementing ads means the platform is gonna get worse. It's probably gonna get slower, buggier. It's just for the free version. Yeah, it's gonna get slower. It's gonna get buggier. They're gonna try to trick you into paying for that shit, bro. So don't be surprised if the quality of ChatGPT goes down. Shout out to Midnight Runs with the $2 super chat. He said things will get worse before ChatGPT fails. That would be a good play for Google, especially now Siri's will run on Gemini. Yeah, especially too because I think Apple cut a deal with Google. But Siggy's right, that could happen too. They probably would just get bought out. It wouldn't just disappear. Somebody would just get them on fire sale. What else news I got for ya? Oh, more ball and gun news. A remake of Resident Evil Code Veronica will supposedly be announced later this year. Resident Evil Requiem, the next mainline entry in Capcom's survival horror series, is scheduled to launch in just over a month on 27th of February 2026. It seems, however, that Capcom might have another title lined up for reveal later this year. According to Dust Golem, who has a history of accurately reporting Capcom's plans for Resident Evil, the company will be announcing a remake of Resident Evil Code Veronica in 2026. Code Veronica, largely regarded as a mainline entry in all but name, has been long rumored to receive the remake treatment, and Dust Golem seems particularly confident that this is real, stating plainly, "I promise you." No, there is not a Resident Evil 5 remake that's going to be announced this year. Instead, later this year, an RE remake that starts with C and ends with Ode Veronica is going to be announced. I fucking promise you. Take it with a grain of salt. It's not confirmed, but this person who leaks rumors, they say he has a good track record. So don't be surprised if Code Veronica gets the graphical update and the quality of life changes that Resident Evil 2, 3, and 4 got. Never played Code Veronica, but I know a lot of people love it. On a scale of 1 to 10, how excited would you be if they announced a remake for Code Veronica? Let me know in the chat. In the meantime, in between time, last story for the ball and gun. I see some 10s, 9s, 7s, 11. Okay, a lot of people excited. Okay. And the last news article I got for you in the ball and gun section is something that's ball and gun related. It's like ball and gun adjacent because ball and gun gamers love free shit. I mean, everybody loves free shit, but they really love free shit. They love free shit and they love to complain. Cloud gaming ad-supported tier reportedly releasing in 2026. This is the second time we've seen this rumor. A new report discusses the cloud gaming ad-supported tier launching in 2026 and how it will work. For those unaware, a report from last year mentioned a free Xbox Cloud gaming platform supported by ads, which doesn't require a Game Pass subscription. It seems this tier might be released in 2026 as teaser images of the service have already started surfacing online, suggesting an ad-based platform model. Ad-supported Xbox Cloud gaming will let players stream their digitally owned games. For those unaware, an image surfaced last week for Xbox Cloud Gaming, which stated 1 hour of ad-supported playtime per session. The messages shown in the image appear to be an error, and a Windows Central report explains how this service will work. The report stated that the ads will not apply to all Xbox Cloud Gaming tiers. Instead, they will apply to a separate tier. Players who use Xbox Cloud Gaming with ads will be able to stream Xbox games they purchase digitally, but will not have access to Game Pass titles. The upcoming ad-supported Xbox Cloud Gaming tier will remove the requirement to have purchased at least one tier of Game Pass to access cloud gaming titles. Additionally, the exact release date for when the service drops hasn't been revealed. However, Jez Corden has been told it's releasing this year. Maybe we can get an official reveal at the upcoming Xbox Developer Direct. The amount of playtime they will receive and the duration of ads they will have to watch were not revealed. However, the report from last year stated that Microsoft was testing a limit of 1 hour for sessions with up to 5 hours free a month. These details are subject to change when the service officially drops. So for everybody who's getting super excited, like, oh man, we about to get free games. Sorry, buddy. This free tier will be ad supported and you will be limited, according to reports, to 5 hours a month. And it makes sense for a couple reasons. A, Microsoft's a business, they got to make money. And B, also, to be fair, if they made unlimited gameplay streaming with ads for broke boys, that would be bad for everybody. And the reason being is that, yeah, they would get more people in the Xbox ecosystem, but the problem is people love free shit. So they're going to take it, oh, I don't mind watching ads if I get to play all these games for free. What's going to happen is for the people who are paying, now you're fucking, you're clouding up the servers. You got a million gazillion people on the free servers. And now the people who are paying ain't going to be able to, their servers are going to get fucking slowed down, whether it's multiplayer or just, you know, browsing through the menus in the store and shit like that. So they kind of have to limit it because you can't let just people run free nonstop. It'll blow up the fucking Microsoft servers. But expand that notoriety to the community, but let's add 3 30-minute ads. So yeah, before you get super excited, just know it will be limited. That being said, 5 free hours a month, I feel like that's enough to where, like, let's say there's like, on average, I would say there's about 1 to 3 quality games a month released. I know ball and gun gamers don't want to hear that. I know you don't want to hear it. But if you look at the release schedule, on average, there's about 1 to 3, except for January. January is pretty weak. But starting February on, there's about 1 to 3 quality major releases every month. And with that 5 free hours, you know, that's enough to like test the stuff out and decide if you like it or not. And then maybe you can purchase the game. I can see that, if you don't mind the ads, I can see it being used in that manner. So I'm not mad at this. It's just giving people more ways to try shit. To be fair, if you can't afford to pay for any of these tiers, probably shouldn't be playing games. You know, I agree with that, Midnight, but that's a completely different conversation that a lot of people don't want to hear. They're going to be like, oh, you're being judged. Like, niggas will be sleeping with fucking roaches. Somebody is watching my stream right now in a dingy wife beater that they have not washed this week. In the past week, they got a blunt, a used blunt, a roach just hanging out their goddamn boxer briefs and shit like that. No deodorant on, no haircut, no job. You show them a job, resume, a job fucking application. You would have thought it was like a silver bullet on a fucking vampire. It's a real thing. You're right. I completely agree with that. But I feel like we live in such a sensitive world now. People don't want to hear that shit. Look at the way I talk about PS4 niggas and niggas get offended. You have a 13-year-old console. You have a fucking teenager and people get mad at me. Like, it's not a joke. It's actually your life. That's a teenager. You have a TI-83. Go play Splitgate 2, nigga. We don't care. You say he talking about me? It is what it is, bro. It is what it is, man. If that's your life and you enjoy it, that's fine. But beggars can't be choosers, and quit trying to ruin my life, nigga.